Hey investors, Bradley tuning in, and I want to share with you today the City of Toronto's new housing solution for low to moderate income households. Now, over the last 5 years, 230,000 units were built, but only 2% were affordable, which means that rents were at or below the average market rates for the city. So the solution from the city is something called inclusionary zoning. Today I want to talk about what inclusionary zoning is and what impact it will have in the GTA and how it'll directly affect these low to moderate income individuals. So that would be people between the income of 35 to 88,000 per year as a household. Now, before I get started, my name is Bradley. I'm an investor and a broker here in the GTA, and we put together content like this to keep you informed on what's going on and in the loop, so that when you're going to go do your investing in the GTA, you know when to go in and when to get out. And if you want to follow our platforms, you can follow us on Watson Estates on either Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. This is a podcast that's being recorded as well. So you can find us all over the place, and we're excited you're here to join us. So before I get started, I want to share a promo video. This was put together by the City of Toronto. It's found on their website, toronto.ca. And it's renters sharing their specific stories on how various housing challenges and costs have affected them. Check it out.
A lot of people I know are spending like 60 to 70% of their freaking incomes just to not live on the street.
Like of my own personal budget,
70%.
Well over 50% of my income was going to rent before I moved in the basement.
40-ish%, like 60. 1,300 flood inclusive. Yeah, you have to bring your own life raft, but is by Beltwoods, so super trendy.
Toronto, you deserve better than that.
Care about housing.
And there you have it. Also, the toronto.ca website reads, the City of Toronto is developing an inclusionary zoning policy that would require new residential developments to include affordable housing units, creating mixed income housing. Our city is growing, and we want to make sure new housing is affordable for those who call Toronto home. Inclusionary zoning is one solution among a range of city initiatives to help address Toronto's housing needs, which is true. Because I'm going to do a video in the coming days talking about the plan in Toronto for the next 10 years. Inclusionary zoning would be one aspect of this, but it's a big one where they're redefining the meaning of housing, and so it has some serious implications, which I want to do a specific video on this, and also to educate you on just what the city is doing to help curb these challenges we face. Now, part of this is when it was given, and we'll get into history in a second, but when it was given permission to the city to have inclusionary zoning, they were required to do consulting and consult the public and propose a policy, and that would outline exactly what they want to do. And they would get feedback from the public and make sure that it's equitable, predictable, flexible, and meets the needs of the city. Before we get into what exactly is the status of inclusionary zoning, what it means for us here in the GTA, let's look at what inclusionary zoning is in general. And we put this video together, you can listen to it. This is a video out of the United States, but they've also applied this in many cities, and I think it does a good job of explaining what this looks like. Check it out.
These inclusionary policies require builders of market rate housing to include some units the local workforce can own or rent. Here's how it works. Imagine a developer is building a 100-unit apartment building. A local inclusionary housing ordinance requires 15 of the new apartments to be rented to lower or middle-income residents. 15 homes won't solve the housing crisis, but over time, as whole neighborhoods redevelop, inclusionary policies create more economically integrated neighborhoods. Providing affordable housing in market-rate buildings might reduce a building's profitability, but research shows modest inclusionary requirements don't result in higher rents or less development. Inclusionary housing is rapidly becoming a common part of the housing landscape.
So there you have it. The idea of inclusionary zoning is that you have a certain percentage of the affordable housing units in new residential developments and creating this mixed income housing. So we've done this in the past, but it's been very weak. As mentioned, over the last 5 years, out of all the units created, only 2% were below market rent. So clearly we've been building up and we haven't been helping this low to moderate income, the households that are in that income bracket. So through inclusionary zoning, the city hopes to do a few things. One, they want to increase the supply of affordable housing. Two, they want to encourage market housing development by supporting a diverse range of housing supply. And they want to create more inclusive, complete, and equitable communities. All very good points, all wonderful. And so I want to get into the history of how this kind of came to be. So in April 2018, the province of Ontario allowed municipalities to implement inclusionary zoning. But before they could do that, as mentioned, they have to do an assessment report. They have to go to the people, get feedback, do all of these things. So the city is in the process of doing that, and I'll give you the timelines in a minute. And all of these are based on findings over the past 10 years. So what is the definition of affordable housing? This is, I think, is a really interesting point because currently affordable rental housing is defined as this. Housing where the total monthly shelter costs, so that is your gross monthly income, including your utilities, your heat, hydro, water, but not including parking and cable, needs to be at or below the average city of Toronto rent by unit type as reported by CMHC, which is the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation. So what you're able to do, and what we've done in the past, is you're able to figure out an exact number on whether it's defined as affordable housing or not. So for bachelor units, it's $1,089 for 2019. For one bedroom, it's $1,270. For two bedrooms, it's just under $1,500, and for three bedrooms, it's $1,657. So this has been in the past how we describe affordable rents and affordable rental housing. But part of this inclusionary zoning and why this is so important is it actually it creates a new definition for affordable housing. So this is the proposed new definition that they want to bring. Housing which is priced at or below an amount where the total monthly shelter cost does not exceed 30% of gross annual income for households within the moderate income range, defined as the 30th to 60th percentile, depending on the unit size. So for bachelor units, they must be able to afford with incomes no higher than the 30th percentile. So now the way that they're doing it is not based on a set number of pricing for housing. They're doing it based on the overall population. So they're trying to figure out who is it that is in our bottom percentile, who's in the top percentile, and what units would you be able to afford. So for example, for a 3-bedroom unit, you should be able to afford up to the 60th percentile. If the 60th percentile can't afford those units, then as far as 60th percentile of their income, then that means that it's simply too expensive.